I'm Harry Glurkian, and this is Moneyball Medicine, the interview podcast where we meet researchers, entrepreneurs, and physicians who are using the power of data to improve patient health and make healthcare delivery more efficient. You can think of each episode as a new chapter in the never-ending audio version of my 2017 book, Moneyball Medicine, Thriving in the New Data-Driven Healthcare Market. Matteo, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's great to have you on. I'm really curious and hoping that the listeners of the show really sort of enjoy this segment because sleep is actually something important to me. Somehow I don't seem to get enough of it or get a quality time of it. But let me start by your background because I was sort of trying to keep up with all the moves that you've made. I think it was like I was saying, a race car driver, skier, investment banking, lawyer. I mean, it was a whole bunch of different moves that I want to make sure that I got right. But give us a quick version of your biography as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so when I was a teenager, I was an athlete. So I was doing tennis tournaments, ski races, and I also raced with cars. I did the European hill climbing races with Audi and some other stuff. So that was my passion at the time. Then I became a business lawyer, a boring business lawyer, working. Yeah, I was working for two of the largest law firms, both of them based in UK, so between Milan and London. And then there was finally an opportunity to become an entrepreneur in Italy. And I say finally because it's really, really hard to raise money in Italy. So unless you find an opportunity that it's substantially profitable since day one, you couldn't become, unless you're
Yes.
probably you have other opportunities which I didn't have. So I was able to start a company there. It was in solar. We were developing large utility scale solar plants. It did reasonably well. It was profitable. Then we sold it. Came to the US. I did the same thing again, which then got acquired. And then I finally started 8 Sleep.
So, Smart Mattress business. Why? Like it just came to you all of a sudden? Bad sleep. It was what drove you to this business?
Yeah. So, and probably we will talk about that, but our long-term vision is, so the mattress is really a commodity for us as a form factor. We are really a digital health company, and we are improving your sleep performance, which if you think really goes back to my background as an athlete, really focus on recovering as fast as possible.
Yep.
And so at a certain point, I started looking at my bed and I started wondering why I was spending a third of my life on a piece of dumb foam. And Elon Musk is taking me to Mars. There is technology everywhere, but then I'm still, waiting every night there on this piece of foam, hoping to recover. And I say, why there is no technology? How can we build a technology that will help me recover as fast as possible? And that is how everything started.
So tell me then, what's wrong with the mattress technology today? I mean, when you go to some of these stores, there's like all sorts of, quote, fancy technologies or materials that are being put together, and they're, you lay on the bed and they give you a thermal image, which, is maybe useful, but in general, I think it's a lot of I can't say it on the air, but not a positive dynamic when it comes to the mattress industry. So what is it about the industry? Is it, it's overcrowded. It's got names like Casper. Some of those companies have stumbled into the market. What's the opportunity you see?
Yeah. So I think there are a couple of problems, and I talk about sleep. I don't even talk much about the mattress market itself. But so for 2,000 years, the way we sleep didn't change, right? If you read history of people 2,000 years ago, they were going somewhere and expecting to wake up 7 to 9 hours later. fully recovered. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So that is the first one. So there was no improvement. So there is no technology in sleep. That is the first point. The last innovation in sleep was memory foam, invented in 1960, which is just another piece of foam, just with different properties. And so let's say we live 100 years. We are gonna spend 33 years of our life on this foam. And what we believe at Sleep instead is that through software and hardware, we can leverage the power of technology to improve our sleep. And actually, we want to achieve two things. First, what if we could sleep? What if we could compress sleep? What if you could sleep only 6 hours and get more rest than when you were sleeping 8 hours? First. And second is, during those 6 hours, can we scan your body? Can your bed become a medical grade device that scans your body every single night in order to let you know if there is anything wrong? What if we could detect early signs of cancer while you are asleep and provide this data to your doctor? That's what we are building.
Okay, I'm curious to get there at some point, and if I could only sleep for 6 hours, I could get a lot more things done during the day. That's for sure. Maybe even write a whole other book. But your first product, though, was a top layer of sensors that sort of fit over the mattress. And then you eventually migrated to like putting the sensors into the mattress. And then you added thermoregulation. So what was that evolution over time, and what drove you to sort of add the next feature?
Yeah, we knew since from the beginning. So we analyzed since from the beginning how we can compress your sleep. So how can we help you sleep faster? And we knew since from the beginning that the big elephant in the room is temperature. At the time, we were a small startup, and we understood that first we had to start tracking your data and become really good at data. And then based on the data, we could develop a dynamic thermoregulation system that could adjust the temperature based on your sleep stages and your biometrics. So it was just connecting the dots. We already knew at the time where we wanted to go. We just now decide to focus our priorities first on data, then on dynamic thermoregulation, and now new products will come that will manage other environmental factors.
So, but associated with the bed, you also have an app, right? And I assume that that's the brains. It's the bed is sort of more of the lower level thinking, whereas most of the thinking happens on the app, and then there's got to be a cloud connection that's sort of pulling it all together. So was this part of the vision from the beginning? Was the app as an integral part of it?
Yeah. So the bed does two things. It collects the data and obviously changes the temperature. Everything, the whole intelligence, the computing power is on the cloud, where we are running a lot of different servers with a lot of computational power. And the app is the tool for you to see your data and to control your device and to be coached, right? Because there is also the whole part of sleep coaching that we provide through the app.
So, okay, I mean, I have an Apple Watch. I think we're wearing an Apple Watch, right? I mean, I've talked to the CEO of Harpreet at Aura, right? And there's all these different devices. What makes the sensor-filled mattress better than any one of these? Or maybe is it a combination of the two that gets you to a better data analytics score?
Yeah, so a couple of differences. The first one, in our case, you don't have to wear or charge anything, right? You go to bed as you did last night, and tomorrow you wake up and you have all your heart rate, the data, respiration data, and sleep. So nothing to wear, nothing to charge. Second, because of the form factor of our device, which is a bed, we have a lot of space. And so over time, we can start adding many more sensors than a wearable could not add, even Apple, just because of space. But the most important difference is this. For us, data is not the end point, like most of the wearables. The wearables, all that they can do is they collect data, and based on the data, they will give you some recommendations. for us, the data, again, is not the end point, is the starting point, because based on the data, we can change the temperature for you to help you fall asleep faster, get 20% more deep sleep, getting more REM, less toss and turns, and less wake ups. In the future, we will control more environmental factors that will adjust in real time based on your data. So we are going to do the work for you. It's not just us telling you what you should do. We are going to do it for you, and you will see the benefits.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, like, you know, the latest Apple Watch also has blood oxygen on it, right? And so I'm not sure you could incorporate a pulse ox into the mattress, but that may be another data point that lets you know what's happening with the person that's sleeping, and then it's connected to the thermostat on the wall, and not only do you control the bed, but you can control the entire environment in the room.
Correct.
So regarding the app, what do you think are the most important functions you have sort of on that that interacts with somebody and sort of influences what they do, or maybe what's happening in the background that they can't see?
Yeah, so there are three verticals or three key dimensions in the app. First, the thermoregulation part, right, where we get your feedback and we keep adjusting temperature to maximize your sleep. Second, there is the whole sleep data and health data and the connected coaching. So you will be able to see all your data, and we will provide with recommendations, and we will show you correlations. When you do this is what happens. And the third part is content. So we provide breathing exercises, relaxation, stretching. So a variety of content that you can use to unwind before going to bed or to help relax in the evening.
So I was trying to think about this because I actually don't have one of these beds, although I think I should probably have one of these beds. Does it go through a testing session? Because I'm almost thinking like one night you want to sleep with it warmer, one night you want to sleep with it colder, and basically train the model on you in particular?
Yeah, the models are trained based on two dimensions. One, your own personal needs, your environment, right? We know your zip code, and so we know if there is a storm. We know the temperature of the bedroom, so we keep adjusting based on your biometrics, the temperature of the bedroom, and the temperature in your zip code. And second, the adjustments also happen based on similar peers. So because we have several thousand people sleeping on our devices, we are able to see that for people of your gender and age, there are certain type of temperatures that maximize the sleep more. And so we keep learning, and then we will provide you a recommendation to make those changes.
So is it me that makes the recommendation? I mean, the change, or is it the app itself? I'm trying to now get to like the machine learning part of it, or how you're incorporating your analytics on the background that then change that, right? Because I'm asleep. And so hopefully there's some automation in the background that's running for me.
Yeah, so I'm already testing in my bed a fully automated system that dynamically adjusts temperature based on the weather and my biometrics. So the end goal is that the device will do everything for you. You just get the benefit of falling asleep faster and getting better sleep.
Have you been able to compress your sleep because of it?
I mean, all our customers are already to different degrees, right? They're already saving 12 hours a year in just falling asleep faster. They are getting more restful sleep because they get 40% less wake ups, 30% less toss and turns. And so by helping you to fall asleep faster and getting more efficient sleep, we are already compressing your sleep.
So now, I have, unfortunately, sleep apnea, right? Have you seen any effects with people that have a condition like mine? I mean, I know that you haven't run a study, as far as I know, on this, but just asking.
Yeah, so we have run two studies with a major hospital in New York, where we compare our device to a polysomnograph. And we have seen already multiple episodes of sleep apnea. We don't display it in the app yet, So it's just something that is happening for us in the backend, in the training part of our models. So the first thing you will see in the future is that we will be able to monitor your sleep apnea without you wearing any CPAP machine and anything. Obviously, we don't have a CPAP machine, but if you have a light or mild sleep apnea, even just monitoring it without wearing anything is some sort of help. And then we didn't develop models yet to play with temperature to see if we can help you. But another function that we have in the bed is also vibration. So our bed can vibrate, and we use it to wake you up. And so one of the tests that we might run is to see if through vibration we can vibrate you to sort of waking you up when you're having very heavy episodes of sleep apnea.
Interesting. So is there a connected health angle to the 8-pod? Does the mattress interconnect with Apple HomeKit or wearables like at the Apple Watch or the Nest thermostat or your sound system?
Yeah, so it connects obviously with Apple Health and the same platform for Google. And so that it does it in two ways. So we can see your fitness data and provide you with recommendation and correlation between fitness and sleep, but you also will see your sleep data in your Apple Health. We're also connected. You can set up the pod with Amazon Alexa to control it through voice, and more integrations will come.
Interesting. So have you guys, and because I haven't looked, have you published any data on sort of done a sort of a study to show that people sleep better on a cooler mattress, or maybe somebody else has done that to show that that's the case?
Yeah, there is already plenty of medical evidence. There is also the book of Matthew Walker, who is a professor at Berkeley, Why We Sleep. There is a whole section about the importance of thermoregulation in your body. And the reason is pretty simple. Your body is already changing temperature during the night and actually during the whole day. So when you hear people saying, oh, you should sleep at 68 degrees, that is just wrong. And the reason is 68 degrees could be right for a couple of minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, but not the whole night because your body temperature is changing. And so what we do is we are not reinventing the wheel. We are just facilitating your body to make those temperature changes faster. At the same time, there is plenty of medical evidence that proves that you should sleep in a colder environment during deep sleep. And you tend to get more deep sleep in the first part of the night. But then you should be in a thermal neutral environment in the second part of the night when you get more REM. And the reason is while you are in REM, your brain deactivates temperature control in the body. And so if it's too hot or too cold, the brain would not let you get REM because you could die. Imagine you were in a storm, right?
Yeah.
And so being in a thermally neutral environment will facilitate the switch for your brain from deep and light into REM. So there are all these tricks that have been proven, and there are a bunch of medical studies that already show it. There was just no one who was able to develop a technology and make it mass consumer.
Interesting. And so why did you guys settle on the circulating water as opposed to some other form of the process, right?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, water is a great material, if you want to call it material, for thermal conductivity. We are able to provide any temperature between 55 degrees and 110 degrees. So we can make your bed and your body really cold or really warm. Obviously, almost no one sleeps at these extremities. But in the future, we are exploring other technologies that they do not require liquid, but is always a thin balance between cost and benefit.
Right. So, I mean, obviously this is not the sort of mattress that I might get for my son, right? Who's constantly changing. So it's a higher end product. What sort of customers are looking at this product, and I'm assuming it's those people that want to optimize for, like you said, better recovery. Maybe athletes would be be more in tune with it, but I'm just making a wild guess at this point. Who's the
Sure.
optimal customer for this?
We call them everyday athletes. And honestly, it's really anyone who wants to feel great in the morning. It could be a mom, it could be a doctor, it could be you and I. They are health conscious, so they don't need to be educated about the fact that sleep is one of the three pillars of health. They are already going to the gym, they're already taking care of what they eat, and they want to take care of sleep, which is, again, the third pillar of health. Specifically for us right now, the core is between 30 and 45 years old in terms of age. But again, anyone who wants to feel great in the morning, and I think there are billions of people out there that need that, are our audience.
Well, it's interesting because I think people are, because of these wearables, becoming much more in tune with sleep. Like I know that if I have one extra glass of wine, yeah, I know that that night is over. Like deep sleep is almost going to be nothing. And
Right.
just because I've seen it over and over and over again. Now I'm not sure why I don't learn my lesson and not have that next glass of wine, but I'm probably having too much fun with anybody that I'm with and having that extra glass of wine. But uh, looking at the digital health aspects of this, what do you see? What's the vision other than just getting better sleep? There's all this data being accumulated. You're talking about adding more things as time goes on. What's your vision for the company? I know you said that we're going to be able to eventually detect cancer. I'm always a little skeptical of that without taking a blood sample, but how do you see the digital health aspects of this and feeding into the more medical side of the equation, if that's your vision?
The sensors we are exploring, there is already plenty of medical evidence that we can detect cancer. So it is a matter of the sensor that you use. Again, we are not reinventing the wheel. We are bringing a lot of things that have been tested and used to mass consumer. And that is what we're working on. But the digital health, we call it preventative health. That is what is really the long-term vision for our company. Again, we're not a mattress company. We don't have one single foam expert. We just work with the greatest and largest foam manufacturer in the world for that. Everyone else is just into sensors and technology and machine learning. And preventative health is what really, what I think will be my legacy, hopefully one day. And how can we save lives? There are a couple of different things we can do. First, through your heart rate, we will be able to predict if you're getting sick. Usually your heart rate at rest changes a couple of days before you get sick. Second, we will be able to monitor arrhythmia. Third, we will be able to monitor sleep apnea. And fourth, through some of the sensors we are exploring, we want to get into full body scanning and have a scan of your body every single night. This will be reflected in two things. First, obviously, the scan itself to see if there is anything that should be disclosed. But second, even more important, we will see how you're aging, right? The beauty of our product compared to a wearable, we don't have a 60% churn in 6 months. Our customers, they keep using our product every single day for 10 years. And so your biometrics today are different from your biometrics in 3 years, and they are different from the one in 6 years. Based on that, we will have a trajectory of how you're aging, and we will be able to coach you to work on what needs to be adjusted.
Interesting, because I had a very long conversation with one of the founders of a company called Humanity, which is actually doing, they have an app, they'll connect to your wearables, but they do a quarterly blood test specifically to start to look at markers to make a determination on aging and be able to recommend something. So I always wonder, like, it's the aggregation of this data, because different devices are better at different things. Like, like I said, a pulse ox needs to have some level of contact with me. And so wondering about the integration of this, but how are you managing the advanced analytics on the back end? How is that, Is that being done here? Is it being done abroad? And how are you thinking about the next level analytics that you need to do to make this more predictive, or pulling in historical data sets from someplace else to give you an idea of how to train your models?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so everything is made in the US. Everything is made by engineers that are here in the US. Obviously, they work on machine learning models and AI models. The best way for us to train our models, there are two ways. One, through clinical trials, which we are doing, clinical studies, where we compare our device to medical grade devices. And we can elevate the accuracy of our data. And second is yeah, large volume, a large volume of data. And so from a practical standpoint, as soon as you have the gold standard and you know your accuracy and you have a large volume of data, we already have internally the capabilities to do regressions and to develop all these trends. Obviously, like any startup, for what we want to achieve, we are still small and we will need to keep growing. So we'll need to add more engineers just to increase bandwidth, but we already develop internally the skill.
And I keep thinking, like, because, you know, I'm thinking like, can you tell something like if somebody takes a therapy, you can see that something is happening, or if they have a cup of coffee too late, can you indicate something is happening? Or like me, knowing I'm having an extra glass of wine, like something is happening, and provide a feedback mechanism? Is that built into the app?
We are building it. Yeah, we are building it today as we speak. So it's going to happen this quarter or beginning of next quarter. And it's connected to this vision of coaching overall, right? And so you will be able to, we will make you questions. Potentially in the future, certain things that could be detected on our own, or maybe there are other devices that are detecting, and you have that data in Apple Health, and we pull the data from Apple Health. So it could happen both ways. And based on that, we will coach you, and you will be able to know, as a matter of fact, that all the times that you have a glass of wine, your deep sleep drops 15.3% and your REM drops 12.5%.
Yeah, my deep sleep just falls. It doesn't drop. It just goes away.
Yeah.
I mean, last night was my wife's birthday, so we were definitely having some wine, and no, last night was, forget it.
Yeah. It happens
So,
to everyone.
well, you know, it's funny because I don't remember. Well, maybe I didn't feel it when I was younger, but I feel it now for some reason. It's much more pronounced. So interesting. So how many, you know, I come from the world of clinical trials and clinical studies, but, you know, do you plan on publishing? Like, I actually think your bed has been used in trials, if I remember reading correctly. There
Yeah,
was
we have
one University of Pennsylvania, I thought it was, that was using the bed for a trial.
not so we did a couple of things. There are 3 studies where from that range from 2 top universities or hospitals here in the US, and then we gave our devices to a bunch of different labs or
Yep.
universities or hospitals, and so they use that and they compare us even to other wearables.
Yep.
But yeah, we want to double down in general on clinical trials, because becoming extremely accurate is important for us, is important for our users if we want to achieve this long-term vision that I was sharing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I interviewed Christine Lemke from Evidation Health, right? So it's, you know, real world evidence on wearables and so forth. And some of the things that we find is like, it's the long-term data as opposed to that single moment of accuracy that really gives you a better vision of what's happening with that patient. So it's interesting
That
when
is,
you're gathering, you know, such a volume of data and then being able to do the analytics on it, that you can see certain things happening. As you said, somebody getting sick 4 or 5 days before they actually realize that they're getting sick.
I
Does
agree.
the bed actually do temperature measurements?
We can infer it, but yeah, we don't measure specifically your body temperature for now.
Okay. I
But
think there's a wearable that's going to go with this at some point, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are different ways. Again, I think where we can leverage our superpower is the space. And so we can use sensors that can track your body temperature in a couple of different ways with high accuracy.
Interesting. Well, this sounds wonderful. This sounds like I should. It was funny because I said to my wife, I said, I'm going to be talking to Matteo. We're going to be talking about this system, and maybe it can help me sleep better. We should think about getting it. She said, I love my mattress. So I may have to wait for this to get old first.
But now we sell also the cover only, not only the mattress. So you can retrofit your mattress and install the technology on any mattress. We launched it a few months ago, and it's actually becoming a pretty strong part of our revenue. And so, because what we notice is obviously there is a big piece of our customers, they just want the whole mattress, the best in class, and they buy it. But there are others that maybe they cannot convince the partner, or maybe they just bought recently a bed and they don't want to change it, but they still want our technology. And so we created a cover that can retrofit any bed with our same technology. And so it will track everything about your health, plus it will dynamically adjust the temperature.
Interesting, because when I was looking at the photos, there looked like there was a unit with water in it for the, I think, does this cover that goes on it also have a water reservoir?
Yeah, we call the hub, which sits next to the bed. And then there is the cover that goes over the bed.
Ah, okay, interesting. Well,
yeah,
50% that may be something I have to convince her of.
50% of couples, they fight around temperature because they have different temperature preferences. And the reason is temperature, again, is very personal. It changes every night and is different based on age, gender, metabolism, what you ate or what you drank. And so every night is different.
Yeah. I think if it was up to my wife, she'd sleep with the windows open, but that's not me.
Exactly.
So, well, this was great. I can only wish you, the best of luck, and hopefully these technologies will help people like me sleep better and be healthier, because we want to live a long and healthy life. Was there anything that I didn't ask you that I should have asked you that you wanted to talk about regarding the technology?
No, I think we covered everything. Just check it out on 8sleep.com, 8 like the number, just in letter, EIGHT sleep.com. And I'm pretty active on Twitter, so if you have any question, you can follow me there, and I'll be responsive.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Grazie.
Grazie. Thank you so much.